taking proactive steps to address staffing requirements at RSUTH. Furthermore, Professor Aleko extended his appreciation to the Honorable Commissioner for Health, Dr. Adeze Ore, for her exceptional leadership and guidance in navigating the challenges facing the healthcare system. The authorization for the employment of staff at the RSUTH signifies a significant milestone in the ongoing efforts to strengthen the healthcare infrastructure and workforce in Rivers State. It is anticipated that the recruitment of new personnel will not only alleviate staffing shortages, but also contribute to the enhancement of healthcare services provided to the people of Rivers State. And there's more news, but don't forget you can connect with us and watch us on ATN socials. On Facebook and YouTube, we're on Atlantic Television Network. On Instagram and TikTok, we're Atlantic TV Network 1. And on Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. And watch us like Nungi Iyoho Afaha Ofiong in Nsiribom local government area of Akwa Ibom State. The brothers Enefiok Etuk, age 70, and Ebongeti Etuk, age 50, respectively, were on Thursday, February 29th, murdered in cold blood in their residence at about 11 p.m. by some yet-to-be-identified gunmen. The eldest brother to the deceased, Mr. Ime Michael Etuk, who ran into the bush to escape death, told pressmen that his brother's assailants invaded the family house and killed the two brothers, adding that they also stabbed the wife of the 50-year-old deceased brother, who is nursing a baby. But speaking while responding to inquiries on Tuesday, the police public relations officer in the state, Odiko McDon, said the investigations are still ongoing. He said though the command had yet to make any arrests, it had put in place a manhunt to track down the killers of the two brothers. Anambra State Governor Professor Chukwuma Soludo has congratulated former President Olusegun Obasanjo on his 87th birthday. The governor said Obasanjo remained a towering figure in Nigeria and African history. This was disclosed in a press statement issued by Soludo's press secretary, Christian Aburime, on Tuesday. The governor noted that laudable achievements, unparalleled dedication to public service, and an uncommon commitment to the advancement and peace of the nation and the African continent has marked Obasanjo's journey. He said his visionary leadership has left an indelible mark on the political landscape of Nigeria in a way that continues to inspire successive leaders. Throughout his illustrious life, Obasanjo has demonstrated exceptional wisdom and statesmanlike qualities that continue to guide Nigeria through complexities of changing times. His relentless pursuit of peace, unity, and progress, as well as his steadfast resolve in fostering dialogue on critical issues such as governance, economic development, and regional stability, has earned him respect and admiration at home and abroad. In addition to his contributions to governance and diplomacy, Obasanjo remains a symbol of resilience and courage in the face of adversity. According to the governor, Obasanjo's dedication to ideals of democracy and justice serves as a guiding light for all who aspire to build a better, more equitable society. He wished Obasanjo more years of robust health, happiness, fulfillment, and vitality to continue to be a pillar of support and guidance to Nigeria and Africa, even as his enviable legacies endures for generations to come. The Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps has arrested a middle-aged deportee in Ondo State over an alleged visa scam. The NSCDC commandant in the state, Mr. Oluyemi Ibitoye, paraded the suspect before newsmen on Tuesday in Akure, the state capital, according to pressmen. Ibitoye said the suspect was arrested in Akure after he absconded from Okitipupa, also in Ondo State, where he allegedly duped people under the guise of facilitating their visa issuance to the United States of America. The commandant alleged that the suspect claimed to be a captain in the United States Army and collected 300,000 naira from a female victim whom he promised a slot to work in America. Ibiloye told newsmen that the suspect had made a confessional statement to the crime. The suspect also confessed to the crime when he spoke with newsmen and said that he committed the offense as a result of overwhelming conditions. I am not a captain in the USA Army. I obtained a master's degree in the USA before I was deported. I collected the said amount as I was planning to relocate to another country, he said. Similarly, the NSCDC commandant said that a 22-year-old man was arrested for allegedly stealing cell phones and personal belongings of others during church vigils in Ondo State. The suspect was arrested on January 20th at a white garment church where he went to steal cell phones. Ibiloye explained that the investigation showed that the suspect always attended church vigils where he carries out his nefarious acts of burglary and stealing. The following items were recovered from him: Android phones, an iPhone, an ATM card, a token, an MP3 player, laptops and laptop bags. At the end of our investigations, which is already at various stages, the suspects will be charged to court to serve as a deterrent to others. The Lagos State Traffic Management Authority has disclosed that the agency arrested 19 suspected hoodlums for extorting unsuspecting members of the public in the state. The Public Relations Officer Lasma Adebayo Taufik disclosed in a statement made available to newsmen on Tuesday, stating that a preliminary investigation has shown that the hoodlums had been caught using fake identity cards to trick unsuspecting drivers and roadside traders into believing they are legitimate government agents. Meanwhile, in an enforcement operation that started on Tuesday, the agency said it also impounded 123 vehicles for illegal parking in the Butero and Apombon under the bridge areas of the state. It added that the drivers of the private and commercial buses that parked illegally causes needless traffic congestion and hinder other cars' ability to use the bridges to connect to other parts of the state. Taufik quoted the agency's general manager, Bakare Oki, as saying that the owners of those 123 impounded vehicles, including the 19 arrested hoodlums, will be prosecuted at the Lagos State's mobile courts. The management of the Federal Polytechnic Ilaro, Ogun State, said it had expelled a female student, Suzanne Isoyo, who was arrested by operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency in April 2023. The rector of the Polytechnic, Mukail Akinde, disclosed this during a media briefing held at the institution on Tuesday. Correspondents have reported that on April 17, 2023, that Isoye, a 22-year-old higher National Diploma 1 student of the institution, was arrested by NDLEA for allegedly possessing codeine-based cough syrups and 283 grams of cannabis and dealing in illicit drugs in the state. The spokesperson for the NDLEA, Femi Babafemi, while confirming the development in a statement, has said that Isoyo was arrested opposite the institution's second gate. Speaking on what the institution is doing to prevent drug abuse among its students, Akinde said that the institution had put a policy in place to routinely conduct drugs tests for its students, and anyone caught with traces of hard drugs will be expelled. An Ekiti State Magistrate Court has remanded a 25-year-old man, Babuga Lede, in a correctional facility for allegedly killing 2 traditional rulers in the state. The traditional rulers, the election of Eshun Ekiti, Oba David Babatunde Ogunshakin, and the Olumojo of Imojo Ekiti, Oba Samuel Olushola, were killed by the government, who accosted them while the Alara of Alara Ikole, Oba Sunday Faloba, escaped being killed during the attack along Okeako Irele Road on January 29th. While arraigning the suspects on Tuesday, the police prosecutor, Yomi Osuolale, told the court that there is a probable cause to order the remand of the defendant at the correctional center in Ado-Ekiti. The offense is punishable under sections 280, 241, and 234 of the Criminal Law of Ekiti State 2021 within the Ekiti Magisterial District on 29th of January 2024. Osuolale said that also told the court that the defendant was arrested in Ikole Ekiti on January 29th with weapons. You're watching Government and Public Service Reports on Atlantic Television Network. We will be back shortly after this break. Please stay tuned.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
you human trafficker.
Honorable they are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
every day our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics,
Nobody's ambition is what's the blood.
I have fought very firmly.
natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
you human trafficker.
Honorable
documents for qualification, so no agreement with the EU, but
Welcome back to Government and Public Service Reports on Atlantic Television Network right here in the city of Port Harcourt. And now to the rest of our stories. In continuation of measures to address the food inflation and cost of living crisis, the federal government Tuesday said it had so far intercepted 141 trucks attempting to smuggle grains and other staples to Niger Republic, Chad, Cameroon, and the Central African Republic. The Controller General of the Nigerian Customs Service, Bashir Adeniyi, said that the service had within 2 weeks arrested about 120 trucks smuggling food items from Nigeria, while the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission stopped 21 food trucks from leaving the country on Tuesday. As the CG was disclosing the measures being enforced to ensure food security at the House of Representatives in Abuja on Tuesday, truck drivers who had been the targets of attacks by hoodlums had threatened to declare a strike if the situation persisted. Several trucks and warehouses, mostly owned by manufacturers and other members of the organized private sector, have come under attack from hoodlums as the food inflation and the cost of living crisis in the country spiraled. Briefing the federal lawmakers on the enforcement of the presidential directive to curtail food smuggling during the sectoral debate series, the Customs CJ Adeniyi said that President Bola Tinubu had given a directive that the arrested trucks be diverted to the local markets in the area where they were arrested to force down the prices of grains and other food items. We arrested in 2 weeks about 120 trucks of food items going out of the country. These are the food items Mr. President has asked us to give back to the local markets where the arrests were made. We believe this would drive down the price of food items in these places, he added. He stated that the decision to halt the smuggling of food items was to fight hunger and not encourage those who wanted to enrich themselves at the expense of the people. He warned against adopting quick fix solutions to address the food security, the food scarcity in the country, adding that the country must put in place long-term measures to address the situation. Tuesday's plenary was briefly disrupted when power outage forced the Senate to abandon proceedings. The plenary, however, commenced after power was restored some minutes later. The President of the Senate, Govt, who apologized for the temporary hitch, described the outage as a technical glitch. The Abuja Electricity Distribution Company has recently come under heavy criticism as a result of the incessant power outages in the Federal Capital Territory. Nigeria continues to grapple with the epileptic power supply situation that has adversely affected several sectors of the economy. The power problem worsened in the FCT following recent reports of vandalization of critical infrastructure of the Electricity Distribution Company, reducing power to as low as 250 megawatts.
Before it was rectified. So for some of you who had come earlier, you must have noticed that the place was totally dark. So Clark, get your technical team to be up and doing. It's not something they should have allowed to linger for that long. You understand? Please let us examine the votes and proceedings of Thursday, 29th day of February.
The Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Abubakar Kyari, has called for a collaborative effort aimed at addressing the issue of food shortage currently bedeviling the country. The minister, who disclosed this in Abuja at the sectoral debate on agriculture at the House of Representatives, said mechanisms have been set in motion by the ministry to mitigate the issue of food crisis. while identifying issues affecting the agri sector to include insecurity, rural roads, market infrastructure, amongst others, while Kyari emphasized the need for research and development in the sector.
We are lacking in research and development. When you look at our research institutions are not heavily funded. They need a lot of funding, because what is key today is good variety of seed. Seed is the foundation of any agricultural situation. When you don't plant a good seed, no matter whatever you do, you can put all the best fertilizer and what have you, it will not yield the sufficient the yield that we're looking for. And especially today, we're looking at increase in yield per hectare. And because when you look at agriculture in itself, a lot of attention is being given to production, crop production, increase in yield, but livestock is another huge investment that we need to untap. And that will also mitigate what we call the farmer's hardest splash. We need to develop that. Very soon, Mr. President would inaugurate the committee to look into the livestock reform.
On his part, the Controller General of Nigerian Customs Service, Bashiru Adeniyi, also revealed some frameworks put in place by the service.
And as a responsible organization of government, we are currently in the middle of a number of operations. We are carrying out a number of exercises, measures in response to this emergency. So through a mixture of fiscal policies, special operations, and processes, we have put in place a framework that helps Nigeria Customs Service to help drive the agenda of food security in Nigeria. I am happy that the Honorable Minister of Agri that spoke before me talked about a number of measures which the ministry is taking, particularly in the provisions of inputs for crops and livestock. Most of these inputs are imported into the country. We have inbuilt into our tariff structure a defensive mechanism that grants very low rates of duty to most of these imported inputs. And if I have the time to just give some examples, fertilizers, which has been spoken about several times, we don't have local self-sufficiency. Fertilizer currently is zero rated. Nobody pays any duty on fertilizer. It's also exempted from VAT. We also have some machineries like tractors, harvesters, implements, and machineries for our feed mills. They are also zero rated. A few of them are on 5% rate of duty, but all of them have 0% VAT.
In another development, the House of Representatives has revealed it plans to protect children from internet exploitation. The chairman of the House Committee on Justice, Honorable Olumide Osoba, who revealed this during a public hearing in Abuja on the bill for an act to provide for the enactment of the Child Online Access Protection Bill 2023 and other issues of online violence against the Nigerian child and other related matters, said the bill reflects a broader trend towards addressing the challenges posed by the children's online interactions, emphasizing the need for proactive measures to ensure their safety in the digital realm. He noted that part of the measures as proposed in the legislation is for parents and educators to do everything possible to protect the child from falling prey to internet pedophiles. Part of the measures is for parents and educators to do everything to protect the child from falling prey to all the internet pedophiles. Moving on, the chairman, House Committee on Judiciary, representative of the Speaker of the House, Honorable Usman Bello Kumo, said the bill is seeking to ensure that all hands are on deck to protect the children from being harmed or exploited and must be passed for the future of children in the country. Stakeholders like the FIRS, the NCC, and the Human Rights Commission, the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs, Nigerian Data Protection, UNICEF, all noted that the safety and well-being of the Nigerian child in this digital age should be the nation's utmost priority. According to these stakeholders, laws like the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act have been put in place to safeguard the children under 13 online, emphasize the importance of legal frameworks to protect the children's privacy and security. A call for a national standard to ensuring comprehensive protection for all children, highlighting the importance of cohesive methods and measures to safeguard children in the digital space. The hearing by the House of Representatives is part of legislative efforts to protect children from various online risks. The federal government is to hold public hearings to review the minimum wage across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. The head of press and public relations of the Federal Ministry of Finance, Mrs. Helen Chukwu, in a statement in Abuja this evening, indicated that the series would commence in the Southwest. Speaking on Atlantic Television Blowout, a public affairs analyst, Asim Adams, explained that the federal government plans for a public hearing across the geopolitical zones is a waste of national resources, as the looming hardship across the country is obvious.
Methods of wasting state resources in Nigeria. When you fritter, away our hard-earned money in Nigeria here, saying that you want to go and, sit and discuss what the minimum wage should be all over Nigeria. I don't understand what that means. Now, the question is very clear that I want to ask them. Must you go to these various zones to go and sit? You make a jamboree, people will not talk. When they talk, I say, okay, this is what it's going to be. Some of them are even talking, you don't even listen to them. They submit the resolution, you don't even read it. And you just go and spend money. The guest speakers, you're going to pay hotel accommodation for them. For the days it's going to be there. You are going to pay them allowances, etc., as case may be, to go and find how to do minimum wage. It reminds me of the legendary musician, the Africanist musician, Fela Anikulapo Kuti, who said that in one of his music, in one of his songs, that they will go to America to go and learn how to carry dustbin. Yeah? You travel to UK to go and learn how to carry dustbin, spending money on those kind of projects. For me, I don't think this is necessary.
Speaking further, he called the government to use various details from agencies, especially that of the National Bureau of Statistics, as it will provide more information on how to tackle the issue of minimum wage, including the national inflation rate, as it may.
Is that the National Bureau of Statistics has put inflation rate in Nigeria to 32%. If Nigeria were to be a human being and they measure the high blood pressure, because that is the pressure, the inflation rate is like the pressure, the blood pressure of a human being. So when you mention, when your inflation rate is 32%, I have never heard that kind of a situation in anywhere in the world. Even in war-torn Afghanistan, Somalia, that inflation rate will be 32%, I have never heard. Because what we see is they say 6%, 5%. The highest we have seen is 10%. And it's brought down immediately. But when Nigeria says at 2%, it means that if Nigeria were to be a human being, it will be in the intensive care unit now of a hospital. and needles will be on his body. He can't even breathe. So these are what else you need. That things are difficult. So what do you need to do now? Commensurately, you increase, based on what the data has shown with the MBS. You don't need to visit those states. You open a portal where those will put their submission. Then you look at the submission and open them from north, east, south, and west. Look at what is going on there. Use that to now bridge them and put things in place.
Nigeria is facing leadership, economy, and political challenges, and thereby deviating from good governance, not because Nigeria lacks quality leaders, but because leaders of our days have failed to learn from leaders who served Nigeria and retired, leaving good legacy worth of emulation. It is to this end the Council of Retired Federal Permanent Secretaries and Head of Civil Service of the Federation marked the annual week colloquium of 2024 in Abuja with the theme Reflections on Nigeria Public Service, focusing on the way forward for good governance.
Now in retirement, as our motto says, continuing patriotic service. We seek to engage one another in discussion from time to time on issues that affect our nation, but with a view to contributing to national development.
The aim of our gathering here is to reflect really on what the public service has been and what it is now, and to offer, as it were, pieces of advice to government on the way forward.
We thought we should remind ourselves that civil service is an institution which signifies, first of all, humility. Secondly, service. Thirdly, commitment in terms of imparting knowledge and advising government on policy options that will enhance the living condition and the economy of the country. No matter what, we are not going to shy away from telling the government the truth, because patriotism means telling it how it is. Ought to be reminded from time to time that you cannot do things incorrectly and expect a nation like this to grow.
While speaking on the theme, the way forward for good governance, the retired permanent secretaries and civil servants urged government to be courageous in keeping the nation growing, stressing that the government must always make federal character meritocratic, as well as restoration of gatekeeping in civil service.
You have to be very brave, courageous to keep the nation afloat. You have to tell the truth. If you do not do that, then the whole purpose of your being former permanent secretaries and of course reservoir of knowledge would not be gained by the nation as a whole. The nation stands to gain, and you should do it with the most sensible commitment that a nation like Nigeria deserves. I thank you for listening, and I know that this particular event will not be a disappointment to all of us. We will return our homes in a much more informed manner, and we will gain a lot in order to impart the knowledge that we have gained.
We, of course, and that's the challenge that we have, and the head of service, the professionalism of civil servants is in question. And as Ambassador Kingibe said, we have no excuse in federal character. There is no nation that does not do diversity management. The only thing is that we need to make our federal character meritocratic. From the Civil Service Commission, we must restore gatekeeping. The civil service has become a place for all comers. And that's the beginning, apart from the fact that there is a total breakdown of competency-based human resource management, and we must restore it.
In addition, the chairman of events on morning section's discussion, His Majesty Oba Samuel Olufemi, speaks on the welfare of the retired federal permanent secretaries and head of the civil service of the federations.
No, retired people are generally old people. I don't know of any young retired federal permanent secretary in this meeting. I don't know of any. This means that we are a group of fairly old people, and unfortunately in our country, geriatric medicine is very, very underdeveloped. And people of our age and generation are the ones who need geriatric attention. Many of us are suffering from failing health, arthritis, all kinds of organic cancer. And since the hospitals are ill-equipped to take care of these peculiar diseases, I want to suggest that COFEPS should consider setting up a committee to look into the welfare of members with a view to institutionalizing a unit to take care of them. It's not only the health that is a challenge to retired people, but also our pension that virtually disappeared. What used to be fairly adequate for me 10 years ago is today worth almost nothing. So on these two grounds, COFEPS will be doing a great service to itself and to the public service if it can do something about the welfare of retired federal permanent secretaries in terms of medical care and in terms of working for the adjustment of our pension in line with inflation whenever that is possible.
Moving on, the Director General of the National Agency for the Control of AIDS, Dr. Gambo Aliyu, said 6 out of 10 persons living with HIV in Nigeria are females. Aliyu also said the young Nigerian women are 3 times more likely to be living with HIV than men of the same age group. Aliyu, who made this known in a press statement on Tuesday to commemorate the 2024 International Women's Day, called for the empowerment of Nigerian women. The IWD is celebrated on March 8th annually. The official theme for the United Nations is Invest in Women, Accelerate Progress. The chairman, Morrison Communications Limited, Dr. Chiere Igwe, staff and well-wishers on Sunday laid to rest the remains of her late lead commercials, prophetess, scholar Ijeoma Ejiogu, who passed on the 5th of February 2024. Late Ijeoma Ejiogu lied in state at her residence in Amauju in Isu local government area of Imo State, which saw her family members processed to the casket to view the corpse, followed by Chiere Igwe's associates, Morrison Communications staff, friends, and well-wishers. Yep. In the exhortation, the clergyman said that only God can replace the late Ijeoma in the sands of memories as it is, and also bids family members and friends to take heart in the Lord.
When we talk of Abrahamism youth, he says Ijeoma that give us ginger, that ensure everything goes well. God Abraham will give us another Ijeoma. And with that, we say, journey well to Abraham bosom. Thank you and God bless you.
Maybe you are crying here. Even if you use your head and hit this house and pull it down, cannot bring her back. Cannot change the purpose of the Almighty. Your own is to walk out their own way. Walk out your salvation for yourself by tears and trembling. Let us obey God. Yes? It says, when once you obey God and walk in that way, that old big they say is heresy. You find rest for your soul. People say we should not worship that way.
Dr. Chinyere Igwe joined others in giving his tribute to the late Ijeoma.
Know that we will take the resolution morning. Rest in the bosom of the Lord. Amen.
We come to pay our last respect to her. May her soul rest in the bosom of the Lord in Jesus' name. Amen.
You were strong when you were living. We pray that you see your way to the Almighty in the name of Jesus Christ.
Yep. May her gentle soul rest in perfect peace. And this is where we wrap it up on this edition of Government and Public Service Reports, right here on Atlantic Television Network in the city of Port Harcourt. But you can stay connected with us on ATN socials, on Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, on Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1. On X, formerly Twitter, we're on Atlantic TV Net, and watch us live on our website, atlanticnetwork.tv. I am Raymond Ken Mbata, and peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
you human trafficker.
Honorable